What's happening? Let's go ahead and just acknowledge that today is my birthday, and I'm just gonna move this camera over just a little bit. It's my birthday today. Yeah, yay, woo! So, if you've already taken the time to say it, think it, feel it, I receive it, and there's so much gratitude today for so much in my life that's been going on, that's been, culminating these broadcasts and stuff that I'm working on privately, stuff that I'm working on in my career, my relationships, not just romantic, my relationships with my health, my finance, my spirituality, my own worthiness, and my journey so far to kind of reclaim everything about my life that was put in jeopardy from when I was even a child to today. There's just so much that I'm kind of in retrospect, and I've been kind of just spending the day in retrospect and just in gratitude for so much that's already happening in my life that there's not really much that I could ask for today other than what I hope you'll get out of this, which is those things that I'm experiencing, which is a heart full of gratitude for the world surrounding myself. Not to invalidate the hardships, as always, that we are seeing on the grander scale. I am spending my birthday pretty much secluded. I am going out with a very few select friends to, just stay safe and stay, again, aware of the current reality as it is. I live in Clark County, so COVID cases are going up. Everybody's catching the flu, so I'm just sort of staying safe myself by just, keeping it low key this year. But I kind of keep it low key every year. There's never been sort of a grandiose, "Woo, it's my birthday, but everybody better watch out." Like, it's never been the case with me. So I kind of just wanted to get on here to deliver today's light message. If I haven't already pushed it to the furthest, it is my birthday today. So I was even wondering if I was going to today, but I was like, why not? It's important that, I put this out there. So moving right into the moon today, she's still, or Venus is still chilling in Capricorn. So I'm sorry, I said the moon. Right now it's a new moon. So we are feeling the new cycle. It's the new year. It's everything has kind of flipped over onto this new vantage point that we were talking about last week. And also happy new year to everybody watching on my Facebook page as well as the 5XL. And if you're watching on my Facebook page, you should go ahead and go over and like the 5XL. Just really quick, wanted to put that out there. So again, this new moon energy is prevalent through last night and going into the following week. It's definitely a time to kind of write down ideas again. It's time to set the goal for the next lunar cycle. It's time to, again, go within and do a little bit of, feeling into your own self. And that's new moon energy. It's very low key. It's not go out and crush it, crush it, crush it, crush it. Although with Capricorn prevailing through so many of the celestial bodies right now, including the sun and Venus, our relationships with our hard work are very much in our face right now. So you can go ahead and treat the rest of the week like the weekend. There's still things that you can do, but it's all like positioning yourself to just make those larger steps. Um, it's actually bringing to mind the best part of my birthday was something that I was waiting for finally fell through. So I'm very excited to see how that unfolds. And I just know not to rush out in front of it. And with our ideas, especially in these times where we need to be kind of in retrospect and internalizing things, we do want to jump out in front of it and we do want to just say, well, today's today and I'm just going to get it done. But when you do that, you kind of lose an edge in that you've jumped the gun and the universe is saying in the universe's time, but you're saying no in my time. And so now you've created something that you're now chasing down. And because you're chasing it down, it's always going to be something that is in the energy of chasing or something that you don't have. It's energy of lack. It's almost like, it's like manifesting in that way. And I'm actually just regurgitating some good manifesting tips that I got over the weekend as well. So just remember to take it back in and internalize your world. What are you after? It's not as important as the energy that you're holding the space of. And the energy of the holding the space that you already have accomplished anything, and you are an accomplisher of goals, and you are an achiever of things, and you are an overcomer, and you are a reestablisher. You know, sitting in this Mars in Sagittarius, we're still being called back to spiritual practices, to again reorient with this new paradigm that we're living in. So remember, even if it's meditation or if it's just breathing exercises, if it's a beer, it's time for those ways of kind of giving back to yourself, but not so much that it's more so it's time to establish, spirituality in a way that gives you a higher purpose. And for some people that is Christianity. For a majority of people that's Christianity. For a lot of my, witch friends, that's, practicing in the comfort of your own space, in the safe space. And, my Zen Buddhist friends, that's cultivating yourself and cultivating your energy. And for my manifesting friends and my new age energy friends, that's just raising your vibration. There's so many ways of getting in touch with collective consciousness. There's so many ways of reconnecting with God. There's so many ways of reconnecting with that collective, we are one and one is all energy. So we're still there. So light some candles, burn some sage, say some prayers, put out your best intentions. It is the new year. It is that time for resolutions. Practicing what we preach is going to be the foundation for anything you want to put out there that you want to achieve. So you might as well go back to those, again, very fundamental rooted spirituality, religious go-tos, scriptures and all that and the such that are going to help you to get ahead of how you're feeling about things and your own, self-defeatist that you have in your mind. It's time to call in that higher help. Moving through though, I do want to also say that today the moon is in Aquarius, so Aquarius is circulatory energy. You could be feeling antsy. You can be feeling kind of like, I need to get out, I need to do something, but we can't right now because, well, people are, but I think that there should be a practice of safety. But if you are just having to be out right now, just remember that, that anxiety is going to be right there. And just pay attention to that. Be aware of it. Don't let it run you rampant and kind of just, again, pull it back and say, I'm okay. I'm at peace. I'm going to be fine. I'm healthy now. I'm going to be all right now. I am all right now, and I am okay now. But again, that's just that Aquarius energy in the new moon. It's all these big thoughts packed in a very low-key day. So do something for your circulatory. If you have the means, you can definitely do some cardio in your house, just or even just do some stretching, some yoga, anything to give to your circulatory system. That way, you are like flushing, your lymphatic gets engaged, and you're hydrating, hydrating, and resting, and resting. It's pretty much the energy that's pervading the week. Moving into the actual constellations, we are going to be experiencing through the week is, again, like I was talking about, we are making plans. And be very aware of these plans that you're making because of this Aquarius energy, and it's out of the box, and it's very like high intellect. You could just be over rampant with thought after thought after thought after thought after thought after thought after thought. On the other side of that, if you can use that in contrast to this Capricorn energy that we're feeling right now, you can definitely put a roadmap, a real roadmap to your success, detail for detail for detail for detail, and be ready to execute. And when we move into this full moon in Cancer coming up, which is a lot of healing and culmination and completion, again with that full waxing. New beginnings are all in the air right now. So again, this past week, there was a definite shift and the attention to what we are experiencing. New Year's rang in probably very differently than it had rang in any year for myself, and I know that the holidays just in general were spent in a different kind of celebration of my own personal life and extending that celebration to those that I love and care for. So just embrace the new and embrace these new ways of doing things. If you are one for tradition and you are finding that you are the one holding it all together, that's now again the new. It's all within the new. So even if you're practicing something old, you're now finding that's your new thing, that you are now the traditionalist. So now, you are going to be that for the long term. So turning over and looking at things from this new perspective and embracing these new realities is going to cause, or it's going to provide a much more easier transition into this reality. I'm totally fine already with not kind of like doing a lot on my birthday because it falls right after the holidays, so it doesn't really matter. But it was like, okay, this is the new world we live in, and the plans I did have, they fell through because of the increase in I almost said the meme, but it's the Omicron or whatever. The rising cases. I almost said Omarion. That's so funny. But the rising cases in that variant are, causing a lot of my plans to fall through, and it's understandable. It's actually smart. I do have a lot to do this weekend, so I need to be on my A game as far as the care that I'm providing. So again, just that extra attention to the new world around myself is making it all the easier for me to position myself to execute, and get the most when I am called to action. So something else that I do want to touch on as we move into the next thing, which is the obscured mind. I want to say this and be not mystical or out of reach for anybody who is watching or who sees this. It is very important right now that you occupy a space for grieving. We talk about, hey, are you on this new vibe? Are you ready for the new year? Are you in the new? And some of us are still grieving the old paradigm, and that's okay. Just because you're kind of in shell shock from a world post COVID, or you're in shell shock from a world, post Gen Z. You can take the space to grieve for all of those lost and all that world that did pass. There's nothing wrong with that. There is something to say about staying stuck in the past, but there's nothing wrong with occupying a space to fully be with the nature of yourself. And I think that's really the point, is not just occupying that space for your grieving process, but occupying that space for your natural state of being and what your true nature is. So if it makes you angry, or if it makes you want to, shout into a pillow, scream, if you want to, punch through some drywall, one, go buy some drywall that you can punch through, or go get a punching bag. Healthy outlets. But if you can occupy the space, you can definitely, express those not so encouraged emotions. And here in this new paradigm, they're actually more and more okay to be expressed. If you want to scream, you should be able to scream. If you need to go out to a body of water and just cry your eyes out, you can definitely do that. You don't even need the body of water. Just go cry into the sink or in a bathtub. If a lot of people depend on you, it's harder, definitely. And right now, again, with this Capricorn energy, it is harder because we are called right now to be at the forefront of so much that we need to progress in our life's mission. But you need to be able to feel your way through things as well. You need to be able to stand in your own nature from time to time and experience the world through eyes of the human id. And when I say that, it's not so much, we all want to raise our vibration and be the ascended one, and I've healed that trauma, and that all sounds good. It all sounds good. But I want to know that you are truly healed by letting me know that you're not ignoring that human id. It's not about sitting here smiling and, very culty vibes. It's, if you're upset and you need to talk to somebody, if you're upset and you don't want to talk to nobody, you have to communicate that. Because a lot of people, I think when we get into the realm of, social media, what we put out, we want it all to be positive, and that's wonderful. But is it authentic? So, force positivity and authenticity, they're kind of parallel with each other. But authenticity says, I'm going to feel how I'm going to feel, even if it's not positive. Where forced positivity is, I'm going to do whatever I can to keep smiling and F the world. And F how anybody else feels. I'm going to, get through it so that I can be okay. It's a very closed off, hard space of forced positivity. It's almost toxic. It actually is toxic. Because when you're creating a divide between the people who are trying to be there for you by saying, I don't need your help. I'm cutting off everybody in 2022 because I don't need nobody in 2022, and I'm going to do everything I need to do for me in 2022. Does this sound familiar for you? If it does, then there needs to be some revision. Because if you can open yourself up to authenticity, it's, I'm going to receive the help I need in 2022. I'm going to be open to the help that I need in 2022. And I'm going to be open to be spoken to about the help that I need in 2022. It sounds much different. Stop cutting people off. This whole labeling of the negative is so toxic in my mind. because we allow it in. And I've said it before. What you allow in, and then you label it negative. Well, what were you doing that you created a space for the negative energy into your life? You obviously called it. And when it arrived, then you said, no, that's not me. That's not my tribe. Those aren't my people. Well, who are your people? Because they've been there listening, helping, maneuvering, wanting the best for you in their own quirky, toxic way. But again, you can't just cut these ties. And that possessive side that says, I'm going to force positivity, it hurts a lot of people. And it hurts a lot of the people mostly that claim that forced positivity. It's something to definitely contemplate when you are setting down those resolutions for the next year. You surround yourself with people that are aspiring the same goals as you, fine. But don't abandon the people that admire you to do it. It's within our own heart to discern who's stuck on repeat and who's truly maneuvering for the next. But if you're stuck on repeat, I have no problem throwing a wrench in your bicycle wheel, helping you get up and putting a band-aid on those bruises from your tumble, and that whole process. That's the kind of person I am. That's the kind of friend I am. And I'm that way because I was stuck on repeat, and people just let me ride off into the sunset stuck on repeat until, some of my other authority figures, mentors, came into my life and said, why have you been doing this for so long? It's obviously not working. To get it together. So again, it's collaboration, and now it's nuanced because it's collaboration in a world of isolation. But it's not isolation and no collaboration. I think I remember reading a post from my cousin who allows me to post these on his page, and he's really having a hard time with collaborating with people because people are so isolated in their own ways, and they're going to do it their own way, and they don't need nobody. And it's a long boat ride, and you got one oar and nobody else. You're going to be going in circles in the middle of a mire. So get the help and allow the help to help you. It goes back to being coachable, being accountable, and all that. So if you're hiding in that obscured mind this week, that's fine. It should be passing by tomorrow. But while you're obscured, remember that there are those tapping, not knocking, tapping, hoping that you'll come back around and you'll rejoin the populace of all of us trying to make sense because they need your input. Which moves into I love it. It moves into helping others help you. I crack myself up, I swear. I'm not psychic. I'm definitely clairvoyant, but I'm not psychic, which for my religious friends, clairvoyance is more discernment. It's feeling into what's coming, and I definitely did right there. Remember to help others help you. If you're floundering through the dark, you're going to have to ask for help at some point. My biggest achievement this past year was something I was so afraid to talk about for about 7 years that it took until that 8th year when I said, I have to talk to somebody about this or it's never going to happen. My ideas were all in my head for the longest because I had this fear of idea theft. And it wasn't until I reached, like I said, I was stuck on repeat for a long time. And I tried to do it all by myself. even stuff that was clearly out of my scope. So, you have to get those trained in those fields to be able to provide the services of the things that are just beyond you. And it's okay to have things that are just beyond you. Not everything can be Googled and learned in a day. There are some things that people have to go to actual school for that you need the assistance of. And that's just a little bit of my own personal battle with that forced positivity. I got this. Don't help me. I don't need you. And there's a saying amongst me and my gay friends. I'm I don't want to say it. Well, I'm just gonna say it. I'm a girl boss. I'm a gaslight, and I'm a gatekeep. And we laugh about it because it's just this nuanced. Again, there's this forced positivity of I don't need nobody, and that's what it is. It's if you're not on the same page as me, I'm gonna make you feel like you're not enough. I'm gonna make you feel like I'm gonna trip you up somehow for trying to help me. That mentality is out there. Again, though, we don't want to go into the discourse of labeling people like that, but it's funny when you see it, and when you are woke, you see it. But again, help those out, help them out. Get them off of that girl bossing, get them off of that gaslighting, get them off of that gatekeeping. Because that is a dead language. Hilarious, though, but dead. The moon transits for today, we are dealing with overwhelming emotions. So, this was more like last night, moving into the earlier hours. If you could not sleep and you were kind of just, or if you woke up and you just were like, oh my god, stress. This was last night. Like, it was very much intense. And I woke up like that. But once I kind of got everything in my head, I was like, you know what? It's not even that serious. I even talked with another person about their anxiety this early, in the early hours, excuse me. And everything else today was just impulsive action. Everything I was going to do for my birthday would have required for me to jeopardize my own health and by extension the health of all my clients this coming weekend. So I decided not to act. As much as I wanted to step out that door to girl boss it, it's my birthday, and F everybody else. I have to have that accountability and that professionalism. At the end of the day, I'm called to do something, and so when you're called to do something, you need to not act on what you want to do. That's just how it goes. That's just the hierarchy of professionalism, in my opinion. That's why I'm here and I'm talking to y'all. Because I want to be accountable to myself. And I also enjoy this. This is not, and it's something that I'm getting a lot for myself as well. So it's a good thing. Cultivate the good things. Venus, she's still posted up in Capricorn, so I hope that everybody's been kind of, combing over your relationships. And again, it's not just relationships as far as the romantic front. It's relationships with friends, colleagues, your health, your finance, your ambitions, and making sure that you're not projecting your past or your fear of lack into those relationships. And the way you do that is you analyze the energy of each of them and you ask, what is it doing for me, and what am I going to get out of this at the end of the day? Is it worth it? So some questions to ask. But again, we're not negating people when we find out an answer that we aren't getting anything. It's just time to have a conversation, and you should really try to save all of these connections that you have, instead of willfully brushing people off in an effort to isolate yourself for success, which even saying it sounds dumb. So I'm going to say it again. Do not isolate yourself for success, because that's dumb. David Navarro, 2022. uh, Mars is in Sagittarius. We went over that briefly earlier. That's find your higher power right now. And if you don't really know what's going on in the world, we were talking about karmic back and forth, and I kind of have a little bit of a guiltiness because I sugarcoated it, and it was life and death, and I was like, well, it's more of an internalized thing, but literally this past week in the it's a big word, in the permeation of everything, we experienced life and death. We saw, Betty White pass away. We saw John Madden pass away. Vicente Fernandez has passed away. So there's this reaping happening. And so all of us are feeling that mortal coil that we have to this existence. And if that's not a reminder to go out there and fetch your dreams, don't even need to say nothing more on that, because we go right from that into the sun in Capricorn. That entire sigh was sun in Capricorn. I really hope that you realize that within you is the potential to unlock everything that you have ever desired in this life. That is not to say immediately winning the lottery tomorrow, but the possibility is out there. It could happen. It is unlocking your ability to truly live in gratitude for everything that your life is, and then creating that point in reality for everything else to be drawn toward you. So if you're chilling with your family and it's full of love and you got nothing but love for everyone around you, and you guys are talking about what you're going to do together, and you guys are actually putting the work to make those plans happen, guess what? More of that energy is going to come to you. But you got to allow it, and you got to hold it, and that's the hard part, because we get so much of the monkey mind going on when bills are due, when friends are, flaky, when, we have, that at work that, turns us the wrong way, and I don't want to deal with her no more. Hypothetically, it's important to just, focus on what's working and bring more of that in. That way you're not having to negate people. This whole negation began because you gave attention to the negative. So stop giving attention to the negative. Let it pass by. Wave to the negative. Greet it. Have a great day. I hope, you have a great day, negative. And I'm going to get back to what I'm working on. That's how it should be approached. I think I probably should have said that earlier, Your relationship to the negative, what is it? It's passing. It's in passing. I think that's the best way to articulate it. Again, like I said, there's time coming for this grand healing. So it's so important right now that we occupy space for not feeling well. And we're seeing that at large right now. A lot of people, the flu's going around, this variant's going around, there's grieving for, the losses of, hundreds of thousands, millions of people. There's time to be chaotic and time to be creative. But right now we are in a little bit of chaos. So if you need to grab that pillow and scream, again, occupy the space for it. Because when that full moon in Cancer hits in 2 weeks, you'll be so much more at peace that you were able to scream at the top of your lungs about everything you're upset about, than sitting there under that full moon healing energy saying, dang, I really didn't be there for myself. Both of these are healing and acknowledging, but don't linger and then regret later, is my point. Pop off. It's okay. Somebody will be there to listen. I can guarantee it. And if you don't have somebody who's going to listen, then write it down and burn it off. So I'm going to move into this card for the week. And it's so. It actually kind of was like, huh? But now that I'm looking at it and everything we've talked about, it's Earth pulsing. Pulse of the mother. Slow down. Time in nature. And when I read nature, I'm not really talking about outdoors. It's time in your nature that needs to be felt. I'm going to say that again very slowly. It is time in your nature that needs to be felt and connected with and grounded in. Because your nature is not negatable. There is a way you do things. There is a way you go about things. There are things that shouldn't be trespassed about you. There are boundaries within yourself. Those should be honored. And those boundaries will ensure that the right people come into your life. The way this picture looks is how you should feel inside when you think of your nature as balance, peace. But we've only been able to achieve that because of the many storms, the overturning of Earth, the destruction. Nature is all about balance. So as good as it can be is as bad as it can be. But don't let that bad or what's hard change you. Because you'll always find the balance to stay resilient. I'm going to go quiet for a minute so that you can pull your own thoughts from this card. So, as that landscape kind of stretches on and you see the mountains and you see the river and all of that, evolution takes a long time to create something so spectacular. God took his time to create us so spectacularly and complex that our evolution has taken millenniums. So everything in today that you're going through has been postured for millenniums. Every action that you're taking today is doing the posturing for what is to come in the next eon. So when we're sitting in the oh no of today, you just have this reassuring thought that there's nothing that is so chaotic that it can move what's already been established over the millennia, and that's the perfection of reality that we're a part of. You're sitting relative to everybody out on the street who's sitting relative to everybody in that town, to everybody in that state or country, to everybody on this planet within a solar system, relative to other solar systems, relative to cosmos. It's comprised of many galaxies out in the universe, comprised of other universes, goes on and on and on and on, and it sits in relative here and now perfectly. So remember, you're part of that perfection. You're not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but where you are here and now is. So find the gratitude in that and stretch it to the next moment, to the next moment, to the next moment, and share it and share it and share it. On that note, I'm going to go ahead and go get dressed because I said I'm going to go spend a low-key birthday with just a few friends. So I wish you guys a wonderful week and a happy new year. And again, if you're watching this on my Facebook, please go subscribe to the 5XL. If you need any kind of marketing done, please reach out to the 5XL. And if you are any kind of artist, musician, or just somebody trying to get your work out, again, reach out to the 5XL. All right, I will see you guys next week.